So now, what's the problem we're trying to solve? I'm going to turn it over to Carmen, who's a surgical oncologist and can tell us a little bit more about the environment and what problem it is that we are seeking to solve.
Thank you, David. So what we're going to talk about really is the current state of the art of immunotherapy. So immunotherapy, and we're going to look at pembrolizumab as an example of a PD-1 inhibitor, programmed cell death receptor 1 inhibitor. So this just briefly review that this receptor is activated as soon as a T cell, the cytotoxic cell that kills cancers, is activated. It turns on a receptor so that it has a limited shelf life, so that it doesn't overreact to a situation. This is both a benefit and a curse. To overcome this checkpoint, PD-1 inhibitors and other immune checkpoint inhibitors have been developed, this being one of them. The discovery of this in the role of cancer was actually, related to a Nobel Prize. These checkpoint inhibitors, when turned on, will enable immune activity as long as the immune activity has already been activated. So what's necessary for a checkpoint inhibitor to work is that there is a cancer immune system relationship already at play. So what we've seen over the past number of years, and now these are more than 10 years in clinical trials and now in standard of care clinical practice, is that with a single agent, pembrolizumab, choose whatever PD-1 inhibitor you like, there are several on the market, the maximum response rate is about 35%. Now, there's varying reports on this, but essentially with a single agent, meaning that we give only pembrolizumab or a PD-1 inhibitor and we block only one checkpoint, that's about the ceiling. We can get response rates up to 50% if we block 2 or more checkpoints. The problem with that is with each checkpoint blocked, the toxicity goes up to the patient. And that really is the limiting factor in all of this. The more immune function you enable through blockade, the more toxicity, the more autoimmunity the patient receives. And that is literally the biggest challenge, because the benefits and the risks start to unbalance. So you can see in this graph, these are response rates at 4 years. That's, we're very happy. This is where there were no responses. 38% stability at 4 years, and then down to 34 at 5 years. That's exciting, but that is the ceiling. So there is 65% of people, the rest of that ceiling needs something done. So if you look, and these are the responsive diseases. So melanoma and kidney cancer and those kind of things, they would be considered hot cancers. They're responsive. The immune system sees them and it is enabled in and of itself. And then we can enable it further by using these checkpoint inhibitors. But a lot of the other cancers, as you can see, lung cancer, colorectal cancer, a lot of the head and neck cancers, they're falling under 20% response rate. And in the vernacular, in the jargon world, we call them cold cancers. And so the challenge has been to this point, giving more checkpoint inhibitors might enable a weak immune response rate, but it also enables that autoimmunity that we're trying to prevent. So what was the solution? And we believe we've come up with the solution.
And of course, while we're starting in melanoma, we're targeting specifically the cold cancers down here, colorectal, breast, bladder, potentially, where we think we can make the most difference.
Well, exactly. So melanoma, just a great point, David. So that we start in places like melanoma because A, they're readily accessible, easily measured, and there's an abundance of it in the clinics that we are currently working in. Cold cancers like colon cancer, which 90% are cold. You will have heard about colon cancer being treated with immunotherapy. It's a very specific subset of colon cancer, but for the 90% majority, they're not responsive. And so this is where our current research is focusing on bringing those cold cancers into the immune therapy arena and making them hot.
Really moving them up this curve, if you will, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. And the new data we have today to discuss that was released last week is in the colorectal realm, so we'll get into that.